Well, hello, my baby gorillas, and let me know if you are going to make some comments tonight, guys, because the other night we had no comments. I don't know what Mrs. YouTube was playing yet, but anyway, we are back live, and let me just see, we are making good sound, good banging forward ahead. Let's see it. See, now, what I used to do was in this part, it would actually show the login. So this part would be shown here, but as you can see, it is not here. Very interesting. I'm going to come on to things that are actually happening in the channel in a second. Let's have a wee look. No, still no chat. Is MD there? Come on, guys, let's hear you. So, nobody in there. So, YouTube decided to not allow this. Excellent. Yasser Qadi, anarcho-Islam. And that's something you want to have a look at because they were trying to hide it. Let's just see if we're on here. Let's see if we're making sense.
Want to know the best way to potentially make a big
Two people
income
watching.
online?
Fantastic.
By making lots of small...
Not allow this. Excellent. Just have a wee comment, guys. Let me see who's all watching. I've got 2 people watching so far. Yasser Qadi, anarcho-Islam. No. And yeah, it's very low figures, no comments. It's a bit strange this bit from YouTube, isn't it? Very strange. Florida man stops woke attack or Marxist attack. We should stop calling it woke and let's start calling it Marxist. So at least we're on here. One day, oh, we've got 4 current viewers. Say your hellos, guys. Can you go on to the chat or as MD? Oh yes, how we doing? Hi Donna, how you doing? Nice to see you. I just wanted to make sure that somebody could actually talk to me. That's great. So let's crack on here. Now you know I'm brilliant at predictions. So what's the prediction for North Shropshire by-election, which is happening today? Let's have a wee look at this, and then I'll tell you my prediction. I don't know where this is from. Chloe Chapman, 1 day ago, doesn't tell you what periodical it's from though, unless it's from MSN. North Shropshire by-election. This has been Tory for 200 years. It's not going to change now. Asked a handful of people across North Shropshire what went through, what they want outcome of the by-election to be, and you'll get different answers today. Different answers each time. Recent Liberal Democrat polling suggests the contest is too close to call, with Conservatives' whopping 23,000 majority said to be under threat following the sleaze scandal sparked by Owen Paterson, the MP whose resignation led to the by-election. Now, bear in mind that had Boris just gone with a sort of suspension and not actually backed Owen Paterson, and just allowed him to be suspended for a period of time, they would not have had the by-election. He would have just been suspended, and rather than rewriting the rules and gerrymandering the system as they do to suit their own vices, that Owen Paterson would still be there. There would be no by-election. He would have been suspended for a period of time, and this whole scenario would not have happened. But because Boris wants to gerrymander the situation, this has led to this, or gerrymander the rules. So I shouldn't just have been, I was a bit flippant there, I should have been precise. Gerrymandered the rules in the House of Commons to suit himself when there was already rules laid down there. So a common thread is the desire for change. The newsworthy nature of Thursday's vote has given constituents the rare chance to have their concerns aired, and they are making the most of the spotlight. Terry Evans and Becca Tansley, owners of the You Imply Wool Shop in Oswestbury, are fed up of being ignored. We are women over 50 and feel angry and invisible. They said, well, I guess that depends how big you are, but when asked when they would be voting, when asked why they would be voting for the illiberal, undemocratic Democrat candidate, Helen Walker, Miss Evans describes herself as not even that political, but she said she felt let down and ignored by the Conservative government and what she sees as the refusal to really support small business, which is completely correct, this lady. And yeah, I mean, I'm sure the two ladies are working very hard in their wool shop. I will be voting for Reclaim UK. Martin Dobney, local shopper David Graham said. Right, I'll just give you my prediction just now. My prediction is that the Conservative Party will retain the seat. Labour will still come in second, although there'll be a resurgence in the illiberal, undemocratic Democrat vote. The seat won't change hands. And the Reform UK Party will get between 7 and 10% of the vote. And Reclaim UK will get 3%. Don't forget, a councillor from this constituency each joined Reclaim UK and Reform UK. Why these parties are not working together, God only knows. Richard Tice and Colin Fox, both nice fellas individually, well, we'd be better working together. It's definitely two peas in the pod, and they both are actually wanting the same thing. So there is no point in having these two parties. Although, having said that, there's the Conservative Party and the Labour Party both voting together to restrict our freedoms. Both Bilderberger and Bojo, the arch Remainer and the alleged arch Leaver, both basically following the globalist agenda and restricting individuals' freedoms in this country. But so, I mean, even that between the Reform and Reclaim Party, they would have got jointly between 7 and 13%. That's my prediction. So there'll be quite a big backlash against what's happened from the Conservative Party, and Boris better be paying attention. So I'll continue. I'll be voting for the Reclaim Party. Martin Dobney, local shopkeeper David Graham, said, adding that it was the chance to send a message to the government on a national level. So on the back of the old Bexley and Sidcup by-election, that Richard Tice nearly gets 7% of the vote. If this other constituency goes between 7 and 10% for UK Reform Party, and they will probably come fourth, with maybe Reclaim coming fifth, then we'll see a very interesting situation, scenario brewing. And Norman Tebbit rightly pointed out to Bojo that the Reclaim and Reform Party are a distinct threat to the Conservative Party if he's continuing to move to the left, which is highlighted here. A vote for Boris Johnson is a vote for Lefty Green, he added. So this guy, David Graham, seems to know his stuff. I always voted Conservative, but most people have been betrayed by them on issues like immigration, Brexit and Northern Ireland and fishing, or treatment of veterans. Correct in all parts, Mr. Graham. Ideally, I would like the Green candidate Duncan Kerr to win because he is... What? Is this a continuation of the same thing? All right, this might be somebody else. All right, okay. So we've got a second person saying, it looked like the way that this was written was a continuation of the same person speaking on completely different issues. So we've got a Mr. Duncan Kerr. Ideally, I'd like the Green candidate, Duncan Kerr, to win because he is experienced. He is an experienced local councillor and he knows the job. Mike Kupok, the owner of a clothing and gift shop. Yeah, well, I think the Green Party are called the watermelons for nothing, Mr. Kupok. These are far left and not business friendly political party. He is empathetic and he's principled. Yeah, they're all seen as raving communist, Mr. Pocock, and I don't believe that a small business owner is going to be voting for the Green Party. That's a bit counterproductive. Despite the party being traditionally second in the constituencies, Labour's Ben Wood has struggled to break through during the campaign. Well, we're not surprised at that. Let's have a wee look at their dear leader gaslighting the public. What's his name? Sir Keir Starmer. Keir Starmer. Where was he? Where was his wee interview? Gaslighting the public last night. 1 day ago. Oh, here we go. Needs to. Yeah, here we go. So this is Keir Starmer gaslighting the British population, I think, on Sky TV and Sky News.
This is a very significant blow to the already damaged authority of the Prime Minister.
Now, bear in mind that Sir Keir Starmer in the Bilderberg group with Jeffrey Epstein got his Labour Party to vote alongside the government. Only the far left neo-Marxist group voted against Keir Starmer. The people that are going to join George Galloway in the Workers' Party, they all voted against Keir Starmer, although they're highly authoritarian themselves. And up to 99 Conservative MPs, I don't know where they're from, but I would suspect probably some of the new people who might split off and join UK Reform, who might actually be proper Conservatives, who then might split off and join UK Reform and Reclaim Party when those two parties join together prior to the next election. Those 100 MPs in the Conservative Party might break off as a unit, 99 of them, and join UK Reform Party. And that might be, or UK Reform Party, well, no, I think that's what might happen. That would be the best thing for them to do, and join the UK Reform. And then that means that they've got that nuclear option against the president, that en masse they will defect, and 99 of them will then become the basis for a new political entity, as well as the 50 far left Labour MPs joining Georgie Porgy Galloway and Steptoe Corbyn in the new Workers' Party.
It confirms that he's too weak to discharge the basic functions of government.
Now, bear in mind, Sir Keir Starmer voted alongside Bojo to restrict our individual freedoms.
These public health measures would not have gone through if...
So he's basically gaslighting the British public. Why did he say that? These measures would not have gone through had you not voted alongside the government. So he is basically gaslighting you.
Labour hadn't shown the leadership
to vote along with the Conservatives. So we don't have a democracy. Maybe the 50 loony lefties in the Labour Party and the 100 good guys in the Conservative Party who might be joining the UK Reform Party and split off. That might be the start of a whole new political dynamic in British politics.
That the Prime Minister failed to show by voting in the public interest. That's what we did, and it was because of our votes that these measures went through.
Are you calling on the Prime Minister to resign?
Well, the Prime Minister needs to take a...
Although he's just back to Prime Minister by getting his troops to go through the lobby with the Conservative Party for a virus that's 99.9% or 99.8% survivable?
Long, hard look at himself and ask himself whether he has the authority to take this country through the pandemic. This is a very significant blow for him.
Do you have anything to say to Conservative rebels?
I do, and I say that they should act in the...
Do you think you then to say that the people who are actually the effective opposition, which is not the actual Labour Party or the Liberals? We're going to see a merger, and they're already talking that the Lib Lab Con Party should join together to fight the SNP. So we've got the globalist unionists versus the globalist nationalists.
The public interest. In the pandemic, the Labour Party that I lead will...
Who wants to bring in draconian measures like Orwell and support the Conservative Party? Shut up, stammer, you balloon.
...act in the public interest. These
by voting with the Conservative Party and restricting your freedoms.
Public health measures were necessary. That's why we voted in the public interest to ensure they become law. And it would not have happened if we hadn't voted for them this evening.
You say Conservative...
voted alongside. We're thinking about merging, and so that there's no opposition in the British Parliament to what we want. We know best. We're the political class.
MPs should act in the public interest. Are you therefore encouraging Conservative rebels to hand in letters to the 1922 committee?
Well, I think it's very important to understand how deep the breach of trust is
between me and Boris, although we made up in the having a good drink and a laugh at the British public when we voted together to gas, and now I'm going to sit here on Sky TV and gaslight the British public.
Between the Prime Minister and his own party. He has an 80-seat majority.
And he's got a bigger one with you guys supporting him, you clown.
He's just had, 90 or 100 of his own MPs voting against him on a 3-line whip. That's
yeah, but you voted with them, you donkey. You're maybe the opposition.
Significant blow to the authority of the Prime Minister.
But you backed him up, so you actually enhanced his authority, because the rebels with you could have probably overturned that, but because you're standing in national television kidding on that we're all stupid, that we don't know that you're gaslighting us, is just absolutely staggering. But just as his authority was under threat, we jumped in and supported him from the Labour Party, and we're meant to be the opposition.
We need decisive decisions in this pandemic. It's the worst possible leader at the worst possible time.
Oh, I think you might have a look in the mirror, pal.
So just to be clear, you think the Conservative rebels should try and get...
The Conservative rebels are now the real opposition in the British Parliament. The Tory rebels, whoever the 99 brave people who stood against this, they are now the opposition in the British Parliament, and Sir Keir Starmer, the Bilderberger, who looks a bit dodgy, and who was in the Bilderberg group with Jeffrey Epstein, is not.
Rid of the Prime Minister?
Well, the Prime Minister needs to ask himself the question whether he has the authority to lead this country.
You've just given him it because you backed him. He just won that vote, you doughball. And he's probably now going to win Shropshire, North Shropshire by-election, and your guy can't even get a shoe in.
Through this pandemic.
Why did you vote with the government? Could you not
Why did you vote with the government? Let's hear this one.
Voted against them.
Yeah, and brought down the bill.
And delivered a bigger blow.
We voted for these public health provisions because it was in the public interest to do so in the middle.
Yeah. You may be the opposition party, Sir Keir.
Of a pandemic.
Oh, a pandemic that's 99.9% survivable.
We didn't seek party advantage.
Yeah, because me and Bojo have a great relationship and we like to support the Conservative Party. There's no real difference. Vote Tory, get Labour.
In the public interest, and the Labour Party I lead will always act in the public interest. We've been doing it through
or my own interests and the interest of the globalists, the corporatist globalists.
Pandemic. We did it again this evening.
Prime Minister.
my pals in the higher echelons of the Bilderberg group asked me to vote with Bojo to restrict people's freedoms and destroy small and medium-sized businesses. Oh, fantastic. Well done, Sir Keir.
In his efforts to encourage some Conservative rebels, seem to...
the real opposition. Conservative rebels, the real opposition.
Implied that further restrictions could be coming down the line if more wasn't done soon enough. Do you think that more restrictions should be introduced in the coming weeks?
Well, what we've done is follow the science.
Follow the science. But follow the science. We've got an Omicron variant that's meant to be like a very mild cold that we're getting no Christmas for, and communist-style passports to go into places.
And talk to the government scientists and other experts and follow the science. It was obvious to me that these measures were necessary this evening, which is why we voted for them. We need to review the evidence regularly and see whether further measures are necessary. But whatever persuasion the Prime Minister tried with his MPs, it evidently didn't work because of this absolute breach of trust.
by you and people who voted Labour for voting for the Conservative Party and destroying freedoms in our society. Doughball.
Prime Minister and his own party.
A number of your shadow cabinet ministers have tested positive for COVID, announced that today.
Tested positive for a lack of IQ.
How does that make you feel? Are you changing the way you're acting? Does this change how you think the government should act?
Well,
No, we're fully supportive of the Conservative Party doing whatever they choose to do. We're right behind them. Look at that face.
Rules, and therefore our shadow cabinet meeting was a Zoom meeting again.
I'm sure that would have been a bundle.
This morning to ensure that we didn't require people to come unnecessarily into the
Nobody comes unnecessarily unless you're a CNN reporter and then you come in a Zoom call.
A number of shadow cabinet members have got COVID. That is, hard for them and their families at this difficult time. The point of the provisions this evening was to try to ensure the infection rate is kept under a degree of...
But it doesn't matter if there's an infection rate. Why would you want to have an infection rate that's low if there's not any major risk to the person's health? You want to maybe go on with your day job. Maybe that's a good idea. How about that?
Control.
Or is this your pals in the Bilderberg group set you up to gaslight the British public?
Change your Christmas plans?
Well, our Christmas plans are always very small. We always spend it with
my billionaire friends in the Bilderberg group. We always have a good laugh at the British public.
Our family, and therefore we haven't changed it, but we didn't have elaborate Christmas plans anyway.
Oh, that's good. Good. I hope you don't choke in the turkey. So what are you guys saying? Hello. What's that? Black Tech? I don't know what that is. Crystal Gregor? Vark Tech? Don't know what that is. Anyway, not quite sure. Crystal Gregory. Anyway, let's keep going. So, Labour insists no alliance with the illiberal, undemocratic Democrats was agreed, and Mr Wood has described himself as the only credible alternative candidate to the Tories. But with no official pact in place, it's still likely the liberal undemocratic Democrats, the watermelon Greens, and the fake Labour Party with multi-millionaire Sir Keir Starmer and Mr Anis Sarwar, multi-millionaires in charge of the workers, allows the Tories to hold the seat. Those keen for a change still think that the party in with the best chance of overturning the constituency is the illiberal, undemocratic Democrats. But many who spoke to I don't think an electoral upset is likely, as some have suggested. Yeah, that's what I said as well, made my prediction before reading this. This has been Tory for 200 years, it's not going to change now. Ms Evans back at the wool shop said. About 30 minutes down the road in Weem, the owner of the dry cleaners is not convinced the seat is for taking. For talking to a lot of customers, I do think the Conservatives will be staying, but I think with the reduced majority, yeah, I agree, and I would vote for them, because in lockdown the support they gave us was brilliant. Oh, did they? Well, they didn't give us any support. That's quite weird. Although my companies were registered, I haven't received a penny from them. What about the recent party that has been dogging the Prime Minister? I think that should be put to bed. She said there are far more important things going on, like restricting our Christmas parties. Tory candidate Dr. Neil Hurst was handed a bit of a poison chalice when he was selected. It was never going to be a walk in the park, given the nature of the resignation of scandal hit Mr. Patterson, but it has been made harder by the fact that last few weeks of the campaign have been dominated by bruising headlines for Mr. Johnson and his party. Dr. Hurst is not taking anything for granted. I want to be judged on my own merits. No one is entitled to win this seat. We must, I think if you're Conservative Labour, you've got a much greater chance. We must go out to earn trust. H told I. The election is about North Shropshire, and I'm focusing on that. There are a lot of people undecided. The illiberal, undemocratic Democrats are equally as cautious. Illiberal, undemocratic Democrats have mounted a huge campaign here, but we know this is an Everest of a by-election. A campaign source said, "We know it will be close, but whether we come down on the right side of close will come down to polling day." Okay, so I've already given you my predictions. The by-election's on today, isn't it? So let's have a look at this fellow. Where is this? Where's that guy? Where'd that guy go? So I'll give this wee guy a shout. Captain, what's his name?
Imagine this.
So Captain Swiss. Let's see, I don't know where he is in the political spectrum. I haven't looked at this prior to actually doing this, but let's see what he's saying.
You've got £100 to take a punt on a digital currency.
As you can see, we're back on the shitty phone. The incredibly shitty phone where it looks like...
There's nothing worse than... my heart bleeds for you as well, buddy. There's nothing worse than technology letting you down.
Like I'm permanently stuck in fog for the entire time that I'm streaming. Obviously, it is the North Shropshire by-election today. Polls will be closing at 10 p.m, but I thought I'd do a little stream just as a bit of a preamble to what's going to be going on later, because I'm not entirely sure if I'm actually going to be able to be live streaming the results as they come through tonight, as much as you know that I'd like to. I think they're estimating that the results will be in between about 2 a.m. and 5 a.m. And my other half, having recently just started a new job with very long hours, probably best that I'm not keeping her up right in the middle of the night with my bloody political geekery. So the most likely thing is that I may still be up on Twitter following it, but I'll probably end up doing, if it's worth doing a video to talk about the results afterwards, and God knows it probably will be.
Yeah, I mean, I'm more happy to talk to you, but I would suggest that it's pretty much a foregone conclusion. I think we already know, and I'm not going to stay up to watch this by-election, although I'm a political anorak myself.
That video will probably end up coming tomorrow. But North Shropshire, solid Tory territory. Try and say that 10 times. No, this is true blue. Hugs the border of Wales, made up of a bunch of little, I think, market towns and villages. Exactly the sort of area that you'd expect to be, oh yes, this is, one of the Tory strongholds. The majority from the last election, 2019, I believe was about 23,000, which is a significant one to have to try and overcome, of course. And in most normal situations, well, in most situations ever, we basically go, oh no, that's one of the safe Tory seats. I think I heard it quoted that it hasn't returned a non-Tory MP since about 100 years ago, and for the better part of the
200 years apparently, 200 years.
200 years, it's been basically all Tory MPs. So that explains how true blue this place is. If we contrast it to all this talk we had of the Red Wall not too long ago and sort of like old Labour places falling, this perhaps you'd see as equivalent to that. I don't. I mean, it's not the absolute safest of safe Tory seats. It's not the Labour equivalent of, I don't know, Liverpool being under threat or some bit right in the middle of London or something. But nonetheless, this is a seat that the Tories, in better circumstances, would have thought, oh yes, we'll be able to defend this no problem. Then obviously you have the Owen Paterson affair. You have Boris Johnson fucking judging it on that and trying to save his ailing cabinet minister. But believe it or not, the British public don't really like the idea of lobbying. We actually tell you off a lot whenever we hear about any lobbying.
Well, I think it's a bit of corporatism, isn't it, rather than capitalism?
Not in Parliament, so no, people do not view it that favourably. And maybe, you know, okay, incumbent MP goes because they're in a bit of a scandal and they're in a bit of a disgrace. That could damage things on the local level. It could. But if it were that alone in isolation, you'd perhaps say, oh, okay, but Tory-minded voters in the area might go, okay, well, that was him, but this is a new person. This is someone else that we're going to be voting for. But obviously, against the backdrop, I think, of basically, I feel like I should get a list at this point so I could read it all off. But, you know, the refurbishment of the flat, the handling of Owen Paterson, the Downing Street Christmas parties, I don't know if I'm going to include sort of coronavirus passports and lockdown measures in with that, because certainly a significant segment of the Tory base, and by that I mean sort of like MPs and membership, aren't happy with it. No doubt there will be a certain chunk of their voters who are very unhappy with that as well, but I don't know if that would be more likely to be a key reason people be leaving the Tories alone this time around. No, it's basically going to be a referendum on Boris, and I know it's all too easy when commentators on political events like to go, aha, this thing is going to be a referendum on this thing, when...
Yeah, I quite like this fella. I'll subscribe to you, give you a wee thumbs up. Predictions in North Yorkshire. I don't know if they've predicted anything.
Actually,
though.
Of course it isn't. Tories go, what with a sort of a very demoralised the people on the right to vote for, other than the Tories in this one, not to mention, say, let's say 1,000 votes. Say the Lib Dems with a majority of about 1,000. I'm not anywhere near as confident with that one as I was with the other, but hey-ho. Try and predict that. I'm inviting a satisfaction factor where people won't even turn out to vote. That is why I'm going to say yes. The Tories are going to be losing this one to the Liberal Democrats. What will the margin be between the two of them? Oh, it's even more dangerous for me to try and predict that. I'm inviting getting it wrong there, aren't I? Let's say...
I think the Liberal Democrats will come third. So my prediction is the Tories hold... Labour still second, and the Liberal Democrats third, with UK Reform fourth and Reclaim fifth.
Let's say...
Or maybe the Greens fifth and UK Reform Reclaim sixth.
1,000 votes. Say the Lib Dems with a majority of about 1,000.
No, I don't think your prediction's going to be right, buddy, but you seem like quite a good channel.
The by-election is on, and this is one of the polling stations in this village. As you can see, Santa is here. I see that
Looks
Santa
nice.
comes out during the night and you can see the Christmas tree. Could have ramifications for the whole country. It'll certainly be something that's used to gauge the mood of the country at the moment because of the things that are happening, the pandemic, how it's been handled, sleaze, all sorts of allegations. Let's see who...
I think this guy's better than me. This is George Falconer. Subscribe to him. What else has been said here for North Shropshire?
Tories lose North Shropshire by-election. Boris messed Conservatives up as Democrats take advantages. Boris Johnson's position could take yet another blow today as polling stations open to decide who will win the Knife Edge North Shropshire by-election.
I thought you just said Boris lost. I don't think Boris is going to lose. I already told you. Who beat the Tories? Who can beat the Tories in North Shropshire? Let's see this one.
Greg Secker here. Well, look, it's time to hit the spa because the trading day is done. Now, if you're somebody out there that really wants to...
Hi guys, so on Thursday there's a by-election, for anyone who doesn't know, taking place in North Shropshire.
That's Irish guy, he seems like a nice enough fella. I've not got a problem with him on the personal level, but I mean, really, politically, geez. Now, look at this, is quite interesting forget him talking. So, the Conservative Party's got 33,000 votes in 2017, North Shropshire, and then they went up to 62.7% of the vote to 35,444. Labour in second place. So the Liberal Democrats, the Shropshire Party, Shropshire for Independence. I don't know what that is. He did quite well there. So no, I would think that the UK Reform Party will come in fourth. Reclaim might actually beat Greens. The Greens would no. I would say that Reclaim might come in fifth, and then the Greens come in sixth, if that's the figure. But if you look how far ahead, it's nearly 3 times the amount the Labour's got, and it's nearly 7 times the amount the illiberal, liberal, undemocratic Democrats, even if a large proportion of the Conservative Party stayed home or voted for UK Reform or UK Reform or UK Reclaim. It's not going to. It's a hell of a swing to go 40%, over 40%. That is a hell of a swing, and I don't think it's going to happen.
Sure. Now, this seat used to be held by the Tories, a safe seat, I might add, but now it's up for grabs because...
I don't think it's up for grabs. See, this is bad commentary. I don't think it's up for grabs, but we will see. I mean...
Vacated by...
I have been wrong before, but it's seldom.
The disgraced Tory Owen Paterson. Well, the fight seems to be between the Tories and Labour if we look at how it's historically fared. So you can see back in
let's go back 20 years.
10, it was between Owen Paterson and the Liberal Democrats.
All right, I see. So they were still 31% or 16,000 below.
He won with a majority of 15,000.
There's obviously some right of centre. UKIP picking up 2,000 votes and coming in fourth. I think that's going to be. I think the UK Reform will get somewhere near 7%, 7 to 10%. So that'll be substantial. There's the British National Party. Phil Riddle getting 1,600 votes or 3.2% of the votes, and then the Greens coming last. So there's obviously some right of centre for UKIP and some Labour supporters and the BNP supporting there.
Then it changed to Owen Paterson versus the Labour Party.
So UKIP, look at the size of UKIP there. Andrea Allen, 9,000 votes, 17.6%. So if UK Reform Party get that sort of, I mean, there's obviously a constituency here for it. But even with a massive UKIP vote, we can still see that the Conservatives are 17,000 votes ahead, but massive UKIP vote.
He won with a majority of 16,500. Again, 16,300.
UKIP nearly coming in third there, 2% off, up 12.9%. That could 10,000 could easily swing to UK Reform.
And then a massive majority of 22,949.
I think there's a UKIP. MP standing. So whether or not how UKIP actually fares in this is going to be very interesting as well, especially coming from such a massive upturn in the constituency for UKIP
in 2019.
There you go. There's Andrea Allen. I'm surprised she never stood again. That is a massive third and nearly coming in second. So UKIP was closer to coming in second and nearly beating the Labour Party, up 12%. Had that 1.8% not gone up and slightly more on this, the Liberal Democrats down to 14.9%. Wow, it's going to be very interesting seeing the results for the smaller parties tomorrow.
2010, it's basically Conservative versus the Labour Party. So you would imagine...
there's not really a versus there, is there? Apart from, that was a healthy result for Graham Curry.
On Thursday.
But then he goes down. So he's gone from 31% of the vote to 21% of the vote.
If there's tactical voting taking place, it would be to help the Labour candidate, who is Ben Wood. Let's hear what Ben Wood had to say.
I'm Ben Wood, Labour's local candidate in
You just wouldn't vote for that, would you?
North Shropshire by-election.
You wouldn't vote for either of them.
Fighting to win this one, and I'm absolutely delighted to be joined here today by Angela Rayner, our incredible Deputy Leader of the Labour Party.
Hi everyone, so Thursday
Oh my God.
is a really important day. Ben Wood is our local candidate here. This has been a traditional Conservative seat. We need every single vote to send a clear message to Boris Johnson
that we're going to support you in any future votes. We were thinking about getting an unwritten alliance with the Conservative Party, so vote Labour, get the Tories, vote Tories, get Labour.
It's not acceptable the way he's taking the public for fools. Ben Wood is a local candidate. He'll be there for you on Thursday,
You just wouldn't trust him with your kids, would you?
Friday and into the future. So please lend Ben your vote and vote Labour on Thursday.
So you would imagine, yes, once again, looking at the historical way this election has gone. Now, remember, there's a difference between a general election and a by-election.
Well, thank you for that. Thanks for letting us know.
Turnout is normally much lower for a by-election. But, and this is where the but comes in, North Shropshire by-election odds, the Conservatives tempt to at odds against. Now, this is from a betting website, okay? Now, it's not polling, but it's betting. But you can see here, most of the betting agencies, well, you can see here, it says the Conservatives 8 to 11, 8 to 11, 4 to 5, 4 to 6, 4 to 6, 55.6% probability of holding the seat. The Liberal Democrats 1 to 1, 1 to 1, 10 to 11, 8 to 13, 8 to 13, 50% probability of winning the seat. While Labour, remember, Labour were the runners-up before. Labour instead is 66 to 1, 50 to 1, 66 to 1, 50 to 1, 50 to 1. 1.5% chance of winning this seat.
Wow.
Now, once again, this is not polling. This is betting odds. But if we actually look at polling, now this is internal polling from the Liberal Democrats.
Right, so I'm going to say that the Liberal Democrats are going to get nowhere near that, and that the Reform Party is going to come in either fourth, or it could, I think the Reform Party could beat Labour and come in third, which again, on the back of the old Bexley Sid Cup by-election, them coming in third is going to be massive. That's going to be a real impetus. I think Richard Tice standing in that by-election has really sparked impetus for UK reform as a credible third party in British politics.
And once again, you have to be careful with internal polling because it generally favours the party who...
I'll put money on it. I wish I could put money on it. That's not going to be the vote.
Commissioned the polling. But it says here, Liberal Democrat internal polling for North Shropshire by-election. Conservatives 40%, Lib Dems 39%, Labour 12%, Greens 4%.
You might as well have made that up in the back of a fag pack.
Somebody else 4%. So it would give the impression that it's the Liberal Democrats who are in charge. Now, if we ignore the internal polling...
Yeah, if we just ignore the made-up polls.
Look at the betting odds... Then
this is the thing about polling. It manipulates those prior to the poll, to actually putting the X in the box. This is a foregone conclusion. There's never a foregone conclusion. You're always in control if you want to change out with the Lib Lab Con party.
Makes sense for Labour supporters to support the Liberal Democrats here if they want to stop the Tories from holding on to this seat. Now, I don't know if this is the right approach. I don't know North Shropshire. I don't know Ben Wood. I don't know the other candidates. But historically, it would make sense to support Labour. But according to current polling and the betting odds, it would make sense to support the Liberal Democrats. So perhaps Ben Wood should step aside and ask his supporters to back the Liberal Democrats.
I think the Liberal Democrats and Ben Wood should both step aside. How do you like those apples?
Because the priority must be to keep the Tories out.
No, the priority is to get rid of the three of them.
If Boris Johnson loses his seat, it's going to put a lot of pressure on him to resign.
Yeah, it's not really. Boris is safe until a significantly larger amount of votes go to the 1922 committee in their wee envelopes, or the 99 good Conservatives who believe in freedom jump ship en masse to the UK Reform Party. Only at that point do we then have a credible opposition.
If he holds on to the seat, then Boris Johnson will remain in his position for probably another few months.
Yeah, I agree. That's correct analysis. I'll leave you that guy. Maximilian Robespierre, he talks to himself, but I would suggest that, again, it's more wishful thinking rather than proper political science analysis of what he would like to happen. And that's the difficulty when you've got people making political commentary. It's a bit like the Young Turks. It's not the reality of the situation, it's what they would like the reality of the situation to be. And I get a lot of this coming from what his commentary is. I am usually correct on my predictions regardless of what they are, and I think we'll find out tomorrow if I'm correct again. Well, at least we're still broadcasting, are we? Yeah, it's good stuff. What are you guys saying? Is it MD there? It's very strange. So this VAR tech, and then you don't get any more comments. Why is there no comments in this YouTube? Mr. YouTube. So here we go. North brought... Oh, 10 shock polls that made... Oh, I don't know if that's today. This is the Express and Star. North Shropshire election, 10 shock polls that made their mark in history. B is for by-election and many a bloody nose for the government. There's Georgie Porgy, Bradford West. As we move into the week of North Shropshire by-election, many bookmakers believe that illiberal, undemocratic Democrats could overhaul a majority held by former Tory MP Owen Paterson of almost 23,000. That would make it one of the biggest electoral shocks of all time, coming at a time when Boris Johnson's government is experiencing a major mid-term wobble. Few things in politics are more electrifying than a by-election shock. The names of our constituencies resonating like battle honours. They bring a dream of wind of change and breaking of the mould of British politics. Not if you're voting for the illiberal, liberal, undemocratic Democrats. It's not. It's more of the same. I think the illiberal, liberal, undemocratic Democrats also voted with the government along with the Labour Party. No change there then. One party kidding on its three. Of course, with a by-election, there must be an underlying reason for the poll, with many influence things. The death of sitting MPs, for instance, or an MP standing down in North Shropshire, where the by-election countdown is in its final stages. Mr. Paterson quit over the Owen Paterson affair. I don't really want to read much more of that. So, as again, we're not quite sure what's happening with the comments here. How many people are watching this? So we've got 4 people, 4 viewers, which seems incredible. We've got on YouTube. It's not even on the YouTube wall. The Critical Drinker got to his first 1 million views. Let me just show you. I'll show you the back end of this. Then you can see this as well. So you can go into analytics. So this is the analytics for the for the Guerilla TV channel. Let me just go on to content. So let me take some old content. So this was done on the 9th of February. This was done a number of months ago. Can we go into analytics here? Options. Promote. Shareable links. YouTube. Edit. That's my analytics. Right, let's go. Is that disconnected? So let's pick another video. Because the same thing wouldn't be happening time and time again, would it? Let's pick another video. Let's take a big one. So this limits off. They obviously don't want us reporting on Anis Sarwar and his leadership of the Labour Party. So let's go on to this analytics. So again, this is the same principle. Massive uptake, 7,063. That's actually gone up slightly higher, isn't it? That's actually got a number of new. But it looks like a very flat line, doesn't it? Doesn't look like it's moved much from. So it's gone up from, say, maybe in the first 730 to, okay, that's 200. So, but it's a very flat line. This is very strange. I've got an extra 20 subs out of that. 8,000 views. So we're now nearly at 10,000 views. Oh, sorry, 8,000 views. So in fact, look at that. That actually says it's been viewed 8,000 times. Let's go back to that. So it says it's up more than 7,100 views than usual. So that's got it says it's up to 8,000 views, although it says 9,000. What? Honestly? So it blips up and then nobody views it. So you would think that there was some sort of gradual incline. Let's have a look at one more. See if there's any patterns here. Let me see another one that's got some views. So here we go. So the analytics again. So again, goes up very sharply. And then so from probably 18,067. So it's only had 100 views in over 300 days. So it seems to move very fast. Only five uptakes in my subs. So it all seems to be moving rather slowly. Let's save that for old Al. And yeah, it all moves very slowly. So it's almost as if the channel is being strangled. So let's have a wee look at this one as well. This is Minds. So on Minds, it actually tells you the views. So the views are based on the YouTube channel. So this has been viewed 1,170 times. And that's Joanna Cherry, SNP MP, possibly the worst MP ever. And let's have a wee look at this. Let's go to YouTube. So the worst. So if we actually click on here, which seems a bit strange, that this has only got 300. This is the same video that you would have to click through in Minds to actually see it, and yet This has only got 386 views. So the same video on Minds alone, so this is the views only on Minds, is 1,170 views. And yet, the same video, let me just move it down here, has only got 386 views. I'm not sure why that is. Let's have a look at another video. This is the Guerilla TV. This is the story I had about Wallace Jaffrey and his struggle with dyslexia, who's done very well. So on Minds, people have viewed that on Minds as 891 views. And let's have a wee look at Wallace's. Oh, let's click through it. Yeah, that would have been much easier doing it this way.
My name is Wallace Jaffrey. Wallace.
And yet, this is only on YouTube. So, these are the views that click through to YouTube. So it's the same thing on YouTube as is on Minds. Yet this is saying 891. Yet this is only saying 192 views. So the view that's 192 views on YouTube, and I think these are YouTube's figures. Never mind the nearly 891 views from Minds. So why are the people who are clicking through on Minds, bear in mind this is just a link to the underlying situation on, or not the situation, but the podcast on YouTube. Why is that not been taken into consideration from the only 192? So there's almost like 7 times more views on Minds alone, never mind the views on YouTube that would have been got. And yet we still on Minds have nothing. So we've now got somebody putting Vashtech. So I don't know what Vashtech means. Let's see what that is actually about. Vashtech. Watch out for Vashtech. Let's have a look at this.
Hello, I'm Sir Richard Branson, and I'm founder of Virgin Voyages.
And I'm Ryan Reynolds.
Watch out for Vashtech comment bot tutorials. Sorry. However, this link is rare. Besides rent, comments, bots are extremely common. Beware of this link, just like the rent bots. Hashtag Vashtech. Bots bypass spam filters. But again, never click on the link, but they direct to 18 plus websites. Click this, your IP is exposed. Clicking this, your IP is exposed, and the hacker will hack your account and steal your credit card. Few people got hacked by this link. So how can you block this link? The only way to block them is with blocked words. Go to settings, go to settings. Community. Missed that there. Where did they put it in? Hidden users. Let's see. Oh no, I don't like that. Community. See if we can do this into settings. Looks like it would almost embed it if you put it into the comments, but let's just see. Watch out, I clicked on Vash Von Rent dangerous comment bots. Vash Tech not spam bot found on artistic and flip remix. Vash Tech deep dive. Oh, aye.
So I've got my essay written, and I've been working on it for about a week. So now I'm going to show you how I use Grammarly.
Do not put in these malicious links in my video. When you comment, it will get removed by me.
New spam comment called vark.tech. If you guys don't know about vark.tech, you guys probably might think that it's one of those technical computer websites like coding stuff, right? Well, no. It's a dating site. And want proof? Well, I'm going to click on those links. Are you guys ready? Alrighty. So, I'm going to type in vark.tech. I'm going to search it. And I was looking something up. And it says yourladyfun.life. Okay, yeah. You can probably see what it is. It's just a naked girl. So, yeah, that's pretty much what it is. Just do not click on these malicious websites, and you will be fine. I'm not going to accept anything, because if I say no, then I'm not going to accept. So I'm just going to go back to YouTube, so hopefully I won't get hacked. So you guys know, it's one of those stupid websites, the dating sites full of naked women. So if you guys enjoy this video, please leave a like and subscribe, and turn on notifications.
Yeah, that's great. Naked ladies. Naked ladies. Block. Can you block him? Watch out. Huh. Get rid of bots. How to get rid of bots.
Channels, Driller, etc. And I just wanted to show everybody out there who live streams a way to get rid of trolls that are coming into the chat and like a first and last name, not the channel name. And their pictures are generic. It's usually just a letter with a colored background. Heck. And they just come in multiple times. I've seen multiple different names come in the chat and they all type the same thing. So this is a really easy way as a content creator to come and block it so that your mods aren't working overtime trying to block all these people. And what this will do is just block anybody who comes in and tries to type that. And if you have a different word or something like that, just type, your word where I show you to type it. So all you want to do is get to your YouTube studio. So the easiest way to do this is to go to your own channel and then click on your videos, which is on the left-hand side, at least on the PC it is. And when you get into your channel content, go down to the settings on the left-hand side, and you'll see there's a tab there for community, and you're going to have a list of your mods, you're going to have approved users if you have any, your hidden users, your blocked users, and right below that is blocked words. I'm typing in Vask dot because that is what is coming in, and I don't want to type tech because I feel like tech might actually come up in conversation. I don't want to block unnecessary words. And then you save it, and that is it. So going forward, when people come in or the bots come in and type Vask dot into your chat, it should automatically block it.
Thank you very much. What's this lady's name? Jewelry, etc. Jewelry, etc. Well, that's it. So I'll get rid of that later on. Fast Tech. That'll be the Vark Tech. You'll be getting scrubbed later on, Mr. Bots. Hi there. Hi, Donna. How are you doing? I don't know where the rest of you are. You're all very quiet just now. So, as I can show you just now, error. YouTube is not receiving enough video to maintain smooth streaming. As such, viewers will be experiencing buffering. Oh, is that? Aye. That's very interesting. Let's see what we're getting here. Are we getting any buffering? What's happening? In smooth streaming, as such, viewers will be experiencing buffering. Oh, is that? Aye. That's very interesting. Let's see what we're getting here. Are we getting any buffering? What's happening? That's it, stuck again. Oh my goodness, what's going on? Oh, we're back. We're back. That's fantastic. Good stuff. We're back. Oh my goodness, honestly. So this is the technical problems you get from YouTubing. And obviously there's issues here. Right, I remember that. That lady was quite good, wasn't she? So, as we can see, the number of views, even that I'm getting on minds.com, is certainly not corresponding. All click-throughs to the actual website are not corresponding to the views I'm getting on the channel. Which is quite interesting. You might want to have a wee look at that. Wallace and I were both had a bit to drink that night, but it was a very interesting chat. If you look down, I've actually put some of the references to the work that I had actually done on this, and some of them have now actually been blocked. Like the links to the Scotsman articles are now been blocked. I don't know if it was by the Scotsman or whatever group it is that owns the Scotsman now. And they've been actually blocked from what I've actually done with dyslexia in the Scottish Parliament. Anyway, so that was quite interesting as well. So this guy, and this is the main event, why you're all here. So this guy to me reminds me of Eddie Murphy. I absolutely loved Eddie Murphy when growing up. I was debating with myself whether Eddie Murphy or Richard Pryor was the best comedian. And I think Eddie Murphy wins it for me, but Richard Pryor is certainly probably number 2 of African-American comics. Absolutely brilliant. Young Kevin's up there as well, and Chris, and there's a number of... But this fellow is very funny as well. I'm surprised that he doesn't get his own TV show. I'm sure this channel is going to do very well. This is called Idris TV. IDRISS TV. Very satirical, very funny, and Dave Chappelle also did probably one of the most the funniest skits out about the Jussie Smollett situation. But I'm not really here to dunk on Jussie and over what had happened either. I'm here to talk about it from a political point of view and maybe take a different sort of look to see what's happening. And if I change the narrative slightly, we might see a different sort of angle. But I'm going to play this because this is actually very funny. This is like Dave Chappelle. For me, Dave Chappelle's skit about, or his stand-up comedy routine about Jussie Smollett was a brilliant 5 minutes, brilliant comedic value. And very interesting, him standing up against the woke mob as well. But this guy, I think, is brilliant. This guy reminded me of Eddie Murphy. Get on. My goodness.
Oh my goodness, is that him? Do we have to go now? We have to
right now, come on, hurry up.
Aren't you the man from...
Unbelievable. That's just the whole thing disappeared. Can't even go on. It's unbelievable. You would think I was getting sabotaged, wouldn't you? Hello from Stirling. Hi there. Hi there. How you doing? Kate Williams, how you doing? Good to see you. Good to see you. Nice. That's good. I'm glad that people are commentating. Because obviously, let me just check. We're still logged in here. Yeah, but now the actual thing's frozen again. My goodness, what is going on? So the video's frozen. Starting to, I don't know what it's doing, honestly. Video freezes, then something else doesn't work. Just unbelievable. Very soon this won't be happening, but hey ho, these are obviously the things that are sent to testings, aren't they? Oh, dear. Let's just see. And we're back in. So, it's as if they're doing it deliberately, isn't it? So, let's go back to the video.
Oh my goodness, is that him? Do we have to go now? We have to
right now, come on, hurry up.
Aren't you the man from the Empire Show? That movie?
Yes, got a problem?
Yeah. Why do you doing around here?
Guys, come on, the accent. More white, more racist, hillbilly. KKK?
Okay. Hey, nigger, stop right there. What are you doing in our town? Aren't you that nigger from Empire?
Yes,
I think these guys are going to be massive. I think these guys are going to be the next big thing.
Yeah, I'm the gay Tupac. What's good? What's good?
Nigger, what the hell you doing over here?
Get more aggressive, more aggressive.
Oh, shit! Rope around his neck.
Let me fight back a little bit. Let me fight back.
All right. Ow, that hurt, nigger. What the hell you just pour bleach on his nigger ass?
I'm gonna get the water. Hurry up.
Hurry up.
Please stop doing it, please.
This is MAGA country now, nigger. You don't belong here. We don't.
I think the three of them are absolutely brilliant. I think they're excellent individually as well.
We don't like your gay seagull ass over here. Don't you ever bring your...
And I don't know what this just reminds me of... this just reminds me of Eddie Murphy. Oh my goodness.
Ass around here, nigger boy, or we'll beat your ass again.
Please don't do it, please.
Hit him one last time to show we're serious.
Listen, I'm reading out the instructions.
And run away so the cops don't see anything that we already did. All right.
Why? Why me? Why me?
Was that good?
That's good. You guys got Cash App?
No, you told me you were gonna be Venmo.
Venmo? I said Cash App.
Oh, I get the Cash App right now.
You can't Western Union me because I don't have my papers.
The guys have done a whole series. You should actually join up because the guys are very funny as well. I think these guys are going to be the next big thing. Ibris TV, I've signed up and I'm going to like it. You guys have done great. So, this fella, this is the one I was wanting to speak about. This is not his current one. The Amazing Lucas. So, what's he talking about? So yeah, this is the one I think this is the one I was wanting to speak about.
You want your videos to look amazing, right? Part of that is shooting it correctly.
Juicy. Living under a rock by any chance. Jussie Smollett trial is over.
Now, I really liked this guy to start off with, and then he sort of changed. And I think he's entitled to his own opinions, and I'm quite happy with that, with somebody I don't necessarily agree with, still liking the person. I don't have a possibility. And I don't dislike this fella as well, but I don't know, I don't know where I lost him, and some of his content's good, but I lost him politically at some point.
And he was found guilty. Duh. He was found guilty of 5 of the 6 charges.
Now, I'm using this this person's comments just now to start to redevelop this and put into context what I think might have happened from a political point of view. I'm not really wanting to sort of dunk on Jussie, because I think enough commentators are doing that, but I'm going to change the context of this.
Now, he is facing a sentence of up to I believe 3 years in prison. The general take on this is that he's not going to face the 3 years. Okay.
Yeah, I know, but I mean, I've had to deal with people who have lied about me and had a significant impact in my life, and the cost and the problems that I've suffered from liars has just been absolutely staggering, where they have had no comeback on their lies. And although nobody was actually hurt, this was almost like a race hate incident, and I use race, or even a political hate incident, and a race hate, because he did identify them as white, when obviously, unless the 2 Nigerian fellas were in white's face and just come over here, but massive Donald Trump supporters, I don't know. First time 2 Nigerians have been scammed.
Okay, he's not going to face it. More than often than not, he's probably going to get probation and some community service. Now, what I will say is that I've spoken to the black community, right? We had a meeting earlier today, and on behalf of the black community, we say, lock this fool up and throw away the key.
No, I don't think he should have the key thrown away, but I am very keen that people who lie and who have a detrimental effect on other people's lives should go to jail. I think liars should actually be imprisoned, especially those who can be proven their lies to actually have a detrimental effect on somebody else's life. If that detrimental effect from their lies is proven, and I believe in polygraph tests, then they should go to jail.
We don't care, bro. Give him 3 years, bro. Give him the max sentence, okay?
I don't think he'll get the max sentence. I think the judge won't do that, but I think there's obviously underlying issues here.
Okay, give this fool the max sentence, because I want people to remember, just a refresher on what this individual claimed had happened to him.
Yeah, but this is where I would like you to get a disconnect here. This is what the claim of somebody who invented a political and racial hoax against another group of people which quite clearly it wasn't. But this was as far as I'm aware, in the run-up to the presidential election. And this was a deliberate smear against people who were on the conservative bent or on the right, and to Donald Trump, which clearly didn't happen. So there's a political angle here of potentially behind the scenes coercion of this whole situation, which the reason for this, or the motivation, was to increase Jussie Smollett's exposure. But the real motivation might have been that Jussie Smollett might have been doing this as a political favour to people higher up the political ladder, and I'll get back to that in a minute.
That people had been walking, these 2 white guys, saw Empire, said Empire, F-word, Empire, N-word.
I don't know if the 2 Nigerian brothers wasn't wearing whiteface. I don't know. That's I don't really even find that racist, but that'd be quite funny. I have to say the 2 bros had 2 Nigerian fellas had a great build on them. I have to say they did very well from the working out. They looked great. I didn't know they were gay as well. But it's quite interesting.
And then proceeded to assault him. Had a note.
It's funny though that your gay black lover is making racial slurs against another gay guy. It probably makes a wee bit of sense.
Right? They just happen to be carrying a noose, okay? Put the noose around him, okay? Then proceeded to put bleach on him and then say this is MAGA country.
Now, could this have been orchestrated by people higher up the political food chain, and Jussie became a fall guy, but this was never meant to go this far, with the Chicago police investigating this to find out what the truth was? And I think that's what police in this country should do, is actually investigate things to find out what the actual truth is.
That's what he wanted.
Such as Nicola Sturgeon's collusion with the people who accused Alex Salmond.
Us to believe, all right? Now, the funny part is, if you guys also remember, there was a certain news outlets and media outlets that were trying to blame straight black men. I kid you.
So this is from a Vibe op-ed, straight black men silence on Jussie's homophobic and racist attack is dangerous by other gay black men.
Not, all right?
Blame whitey.
They try to say, hey,
blame black men.
Hey, straight black.
Blame anybody.
Black men's silence is dangerous and yada.
But don't blame the Democrats, especially the higher ups in the Democratic Party, who would have politically gained mileage out of this fake attack.
Yada, 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 yada. Okay.
But could have been orchestrated by those higher up.
Okay, very interesting, very interesting. The reason I would say that straight black men, and I would say majority of the country, were silent was because we knew it didn't happen.
Yeah, I cannot appreciate that, but did you think that it could have been orchestrated by politicians rather than what you're just about to come on to talk about, how much he was getting paid and what would have been, well, I guess victimhood is a currency in America these days.
We knew.
Even if you're a multimillionaire.
What he was saying.
Duchess of Sussex.
It was complete nonsense. All right? If you had an IQ above room temperature, you knew that what he said did not happen. All right? As I even said, which is why we have this shirt, never go full retard.
Never go full. Very good.
Because the guy was off his rocker.
But was he off his rocker, or was he a political actor doing something not to advance his own situation? And I'll come to the collusion part in a minute. Not to advance his own situation and what I think you're about to come to in a second, but to put a political spoke against Donald Trump, because this is quite clearly a race-based, this is blaming white men, MAGA supporters, so this is quite clearly racist and politically motivated. And we'll find out who Jussie is connected to in a minute.
And what's even worse is when you come to find out why he did this. This man.
But did he do it for the reasons that you're going to tell us in a minute, or did he do them for political reasons? I would suggest that it's for political reasons, but that's because I know about politics.
Some reports estimate that he was getting anywhere from $65K to $125K an episode.
So this guy, per episode, which Lucas is going to speak about as well. So I don't know how many episodes he's doing in a year, but I mean, this is obviously somebody who's a multimillionaire.
Episode, and he was not satisfied. I want you to understand.
Yeah. Now, just I don't know what this is in. This is Business Insider. Smollett made £65,000 per episode for the Fox show. It was from Fox, was it? According to the HuffPost reporter Yasser Ali, who cited a well-placed source, but the Hollywood Reporter reported on Thursday, citing anonymous sources, that he had recently making as much as $125,000 an episode. Don't know how many episodes there would be in a year, but I would suspect that this guy is a multi-millionaire. Sources describe it to the THR as 3 tiers of cash salaries. All right, We want equality.
Satisfied. I want you to understand the reason why this whole hoax and this hate crime even emerged was because he wasn't happy with the salary he was.
Or it could be another reason that he was asked by people who were very high in politics and the globalist shills to actually do this. I mean, they're openly anti-white. They're openly calling things white supremacists and all sorts of things now. So they're openly just being anti-white now. And could this hoax have been deliberately orchestrated? I'll come back to that in a minute.
Was getting a salary that was more than the majority of Americans get.
But that doesn't make sense. So why would unless he was going to use the victim cachet as currency, it doesn't make sense that he was actually. Now, I understand that he doesn't have to make sense, but to me, this wasn't about increasing salary. This was a clear and defined political attack on Donald Trump, that, like the Russiagate, that could have been coordinated politically.
Okay, he was getting this not a year, right? Not 62K a year, not 125K a year. We're talking about per episode. This mofo was like, I don't like that.
Or he was politically connected and his political contacts asked him to do a favour.
Created this hate crime, I guess, so he could have.
But it would be more likely he created the hate crime to go after Donald Trump, MAGA supporters, white men, than to get an increase in salary. He would have gone to his agent and asked for an increase in salary. Or maybe the hate crime would have launched him onto more money per episode because of obviously playing in the cachet. But it could have equally been a political setup. It would only take one phone call, one contact, one email, one point of contact between the people who he politically knew and Jussie Smollett to organise this.
Leverage? I don't even, it doesn't even make sense to me.
Yeah.
Do you think
it doesn't make sense, but it does make sense if you think that people who would have gained politically orchestrated this as a point.
Being a victim of a hate crime, so I'm give you.
But it does make sense if people like Harris or the Obamas actually spoke to Jussie, or even Fox, who was supported in her election by Soros, funded, and was also a contact with Jussie Smollett, who she said she had recused herself from the legal proceedings, but yet then supervised the legal proceedings, which, as far as I'm aware, is not recusing them yourself from the actual political setup.
You leverage in Hollywood? Is that how it works? I don't.
Well, it gives you leverage with the elite of the political class and the globalists.
No, the man is dumb. But the cherry on top of...
Yeah, if he's done a favour for the political class to try and nuke Donald Trump and discredit white men. I mean, years dopey Joe Biden keep going on about white supremacy, although I think it's dementia geriatric supremacy that we're worried about.
But this stupid Sunday, it's not even the hate crime, it's not even that the hoax, it's not even that...
It is a hate crime. It's a politically motivated hate crime. It's a politically motivated hate crime by a guy who was in a very close relationships with Kim Fox, who had to recuse herself, the Obamas, and Harris as well, all of whom had personal relationships with Jussie Smollett, who made this hate crime against white men, which obviously is quite clearly there was not a white man involved in this, and just goes to the anti-white racism that's prevalent in the United States, being pushed by the Democrats Party.
Chicago PD put resources and time and energy.
Well, I have to say congratulations. I know there's a lot of criticism for the Chicago police, but they obviously did this, wasted time and money on this case, and this could have been. I think the Chicago prosecutor needs to look at the Obamas, Harris, and Soros and Kim Fox as a collective to see if there's any conspiratorial overviews for what actually happened to Jussie Smollett.
Into finding out who committed this hate crime, how did it happen, how they, go about this.
All it would have taken is one letter, one point of contact, one email from Obama's, Harris, and Kim Fox recusing herself, but not really recusing herself, having been supported by Soros, who's the arch globalist, with the Obamas being a couple of shills. Harris, I think, whose family were slave owners, and from Jamaica, and yeah, I think that's it.
To thwart future hate crimes, right? They spend all this time, money.
But this is my point, and I think it happens in the UK as well. I think the establishment actually invent crimes to discredit. I mean, I've already been discredited in the papers. Let's see this in DuckDuckGo, and let's have a wee look at me in DuckDuckGo, because I saw another article. David. I saw another article on here saying I was a member of UKIP. I've never been a member of UKIP. Just more and more lies, and I don't know where it's gone. If I put UKIP. A communist cancer. Former yeah, I don't know where it's gone. But he said that I was a member of UKIP, never been a member of UKIP. But there seems to be quite a lot of mistruths. They seem to be able to lie with impunity, and without our judicial system actually holding people who lie to account.
All these resources into a hoax, okay? That's not even the issue. The issue is, as if this fool went on the stand and continued to lie.
Well, I guess if you get the backing of former presidents and vice presidents and vice presidents, and then you know that your prosecutor knows you and hasn't really recused herself, I guess you think you're pretty untouchable.
Listen to me. He took the stand and was like, hey, all right, it happened to me. This wasn't a fake. I tried to lay...
Former Empire television star 39 was called to testify in his own defence about the January 2019 attack, vehemently maintained his innocence on day 5 of his trial in Chicago court. There was no hoax, Smollett told the court. What happened to me happened.
Laying a punch, right? He continues to lie on the stand.
So this guy's amazing, Lucas.
Just, bruh, this man is cancer, okay?
But he might have thought he was doing the right thing by doing this on behalf of the globalists, not knowing he was getting puppeteered by Soros through Kim Fox and the Obamas and Harris. So, as I said, it's a very small connection there between all of them and them who were all friends with Jussie Smollett and Jussie Smollett's family. For them to have puppeteered him to the situation he finds himself in just now. If I was the judge, I would be opening up the conversation between Kim Fox and finding out what had happened with her and seeing if there's connections between the Obamas, Soros, and Harris and the Obamas. It wouldn't take very much to find out if there's emails and other things going before that to actually make this a political setup rather than a setup for more money, which he seems to be a multi-millionaire and not really requiring to do this for greater exposure. He was on a TV show, he was becoming a multi-millionaire, and he was still prepared to do this to increase his exposure.
Please lock him up, okay, for the benefit of society. Listen to me, for the benefit of society. This is one black man. We do not have a problem.
Yeah, and he's going to say something, and I actually totally agree with him, but I don't think he should just say African Americans. I think he should comment on anybody who's illegally detained. But again, it seems like it's coming from a slightly racist take, but I think if there's miscarriages of justice for African Americans, I think they should be dealt with as well. It's terrible being locked up for something you didn't do.
If you throw the book at him, okay? How about this? We'll do like a trade with Jesus, right? Let us have Barabbas, okay? Not that he's Jesus, but take this fool and give us 2 other black men who are probably in jail for some nonsense, okay?
Well, I think you would have to identify the African American gentlemen who were in jail for a bad conviction or a wrongful conviction. But I think you should have just said at that point just 2 people who were in jail. I don't know why they would per se need to be black, and I don't think it's part exchange for one black person for another. It's this guy's quite clearly done something very bad, and he should be going to jail on. I think it's obvious to everybody, including yourself, including everybody else, that he's done something that's very bad, that looks politically motivated, not motivated from his own greed, which makes more sense than being motivated from his own greed, which you've correctly pointed out. But this looks much more orchestrated from the higher-ups than it is from what the alleged motive was for this.
Okay? Give us one of the black men who are actually innocent. That's what seemed to be.
Well, I don't think just anybody that was innocent. But if there's African American people who are innocent, yeah, I think there's a number of miscarriages of justice in America, and there should definitely be a more precise way to actually identify miscarriage of justice and to release people who have had and to compensate them as well.
The pattern right now, they just magically releasing black men after.
Well, let me just see this because that's quite interesting as well. So, because I feel passionately, not based on race or ethnicity. North Carolina man who was in prison 23 years, jeez, is awarded $6 million after jury found defective false evidence against him. Well done to that gentleman. I don't know who he is.
Than 2 in there, so give us there's more than 2. Turns out this man after 40 years.
So wrongful conviction of Massachusetts man released after spending 27 years in jail. And this is another African American fellow as well, man. That's horrendous. Can you imagine spending 27 years in jail for something you didn't do? That is absolutely horrendous. And yeah, I think there has to be a review of cases, and this is terrible. Can you imagine you being this gentleman, an innocent man, and spending that length of time in jail? I mean, I found it bad enough going through what I went through, but I certainly didn't have this issue.
Oh, it turns out this Negro didn't actually commit that crime. You're free to go. Give us one of them. I know there's more than 2 in there, so give us a.
Yeah, I would say, Lucas, that you should say this properly and say there has to be a cold case review or across the board, not just based on ethnicity or what people call race. That anybody, regardless of their skin colour, especially in the United States, should have their case, if they are actually literally innocent of what they're claiming they're in jail for. It's horrendous to be in jail for something you didn't do, and to miss out on such a large part of your family's life, and that's terrible.
Give us a couple, and y'all can have Jussie for the rest.
So I don't think we want Jussie for the rest of his life, but the point is that, was this a politically motivated? And I think in the UK as well, that we might have politically motivated setups, lies by the establishment to smear and actually condemn people. And I think that changes the dynamic from the Jussie Smollett wanted more money. Could have been greed, yes, it could have been, but and a higher exposure and people to feel sorry for Jussie, but he stood up. But it also looks highly racial, looks like he's a massive racist, and he doesn't like white people, and it looks like it was politically done, because obviously dopey Joe Biden keeps talking about white supremacy. Well, he's getting puppeteered himself.
Rest of however long you want him, okay? Free labor, right? Do with him whatever you want. I don't care if he's making license plates, fixing tires, go for it. Knock yourself out. Anyways, guys, that's the video. Look.
Yeah, I'm subscribed to Amazing Lucas as well. If you want to subscribe to him, some of his stuff's quite punchy. I'll give him a wee like for that, for using his video as well. Some of his stuff's quite punchy. I liked him a number of years ago, and he seemed to go off the boil a wee bit. So, was this a staged attack? Obviously, we know Soros funded Kim Foxx's election to become the Chicago mayor, and now trying to recuse herself and still overseeing the case, which I think is highly irregular in the United States as well. This is that's a major issue. So thanks very much to Amazing Lucas.
But
and then we've got Harris Sultan, my man, and Miss Khan.
And
very attractive looking young lady. And intelligent. She's obviously somewhere down south.
Actually, when I was in England, I went to see him, and he read my book.
Yes, this is your pinned tweet, isn't it, on your Twitter as well?
This is my pinned tweet. This is it, July the 27th. I did it, and Richard Dawkins tweeted.
So Sultan Harris is obviously of Pakistani origin. I think he's in Australia. He's a massive fan of Richard Dawkins. I think Richard Dawkins sort of God delusion and other things sort of gave him an enlightenment as well, and I think he's now an atheist. And this is what happens when people leave Islam. Their underlying personality, these two are really nice people, but they just become really nice people when they leave Islam because of all the nastiness that's in Islam.
Did about me. He said, this book by the Harris Sultan is a fine critique of Islam, including a chapter on the character of Muhammad and the fatuous claim that the Quran anticipated embryology and other modern sciences. So that I pinned this tweet. I said, okay, this made my day, probably made my year. I finally got to meet my intellectual hero, Richard Dawkins, who nearly 13 years ago changed my life. I'm over the moon that you liked it, Professor. So I initially thought, and I think I spoke with you. I said, what if he just throws my book? And you said no intellectual of his caliber throws a book away. So I think it took him a week, and then he read this book. Yeah. And I thought that because he only mentioned 2 chapters, the character of Muhammad and the science in the Quran, I thought maybe he just read those 2 books. But he actually read it all in its entirety. You know how I know this?
How? I want to know how.
Because he made this tweet. He said, okay, so he's quoting. You're Islamophobic. No, I'm phobic about FGM, whipping women for being raped, pushing gays off buildings, honor killing, death for apostasy, extramarital sex, etc. Teaching children anti-scientific nonsense. I'm not Muslimophobic. Muslims are main victims of the above. So he used the word Muslimophobic.
Yeah.
He used the word Muslimophobic. I'm the only one who uses that word. And I wrote that word in my book. I should have had the screenshot, but in my last chapter, Islamophobia. And I said anti-Muslim bigotry or Muslimophobic. Muslimophobic is the word that I've used quite a lot. But anyway, so let's move on from that. So thank you, Professor. We're always there. We're always there for you. But it was so.
And he's probably read your book, Horace. That was so.
No, I think he has. I think he has. Now I believe he has.
Great. He's taken Muslimophobia from it. We could even maybe guess he might have.
No. The giveaway is Muslimophobic. There's O in there because a lot of people said, Harris, why are you saying Muslimophobic? Just say Muslimphobic. But I was like trying to rhyme it with Islamophobic to Muslimophobic.
Yeah,
that's
the top dog. Yeah.
Yeah. So I know. So he responded.
Any ounce of
and
evidence, prove evidence. So Harris Sultan is obviously a Muslim, like the apostate prophet and apostate Aladdin, which I'll come on to in a minute. All these guys know the Quran better than even me living there as a Westerner. They know exactly what's going on, and they've got a better understanding of either growing up in Islamic households or an Islamic country, and these guys are now very balanced and well adjusted within themselves for coming away from Islam as well. They're really nice people as well, nice personalities. Whereas we've got the Islamo-fascist Muhammad Hijab.
And pushing gays out buildings, didn't even bother responding to it.
No, he didn't even respond to that. Yeah.
He just missed that one out.
He didn't respond to it. Honor killing, false. Okay. Death for apostasy, extramarital sex is death for apostasy for treason in an Islamic state.
Oh, well, killing at a state level. Go and look at my Yasser Qadi podcast that was getting suppressed by YouTube.
Yeah, okay. You want to call that treason? Sure. Extramarital, 100 lashes before marriage. Before marriage, so he's right. Extramarital, you doofus. Extramarital.
They have a wee argument about this, but yeah.
All right, so as an outside of marriage, okay, I take that. Death for apostasy and adultery, his statement would have been true, right? That's what he would. But regardless of that, so basically he's trying to catch Dawkins on.
Yeah, that's the point. That's the crux. He's trying to catch Dawkins out. Exactly.
He's trying to catch Dawkins on a technicality. So if he had said adultery, death for apostasy and adultery, his statement would have been true, right?
And atheists and people who do not believe in the books. It's death for everybody that's not in Islam, basically.
The privileges I have.
That's all right. We got you, homeboy.
But regardless of that,
occurring outside of marriage, whether I'm single.
Okay, so maybe I'm the doofus then.
Adultery is.
But does that? And so hang on. Dawkins on.
Yeah, that's the point. It's not a much better thing to suggest, mate. Also, that's why I said could be fatal, because when you lash someone 100 times, that could prematurely lead to their death, and it.
Death for apostasy and adultery, his statement would have been true, right? That's what he would have meant. So fine. He just made a technical error, but
he shot himself in the foot by saying 100 lashes, because 100 lashes, even in the 21st century, it's not a much better thing to suggest, mate. Also, that's why I said could be fatal, because when you lash someone 100 times, that could prematurely lead to their death, and it could be fatal. It's not like a punishment that warrants the crime. Do you know what I mean? Like, it's just it's. Even that as a defense does not hold up. So you're not trying to make Dawkins look like a mug.
Actually, no, someone is telling me, Harris, you're right. Extramarital sexual relationship is one between a married person and someone who is not their husband. So there you go. Extramarital. So I should fact check you as well.
But that's an extramarital affair. It's just it's very semantic. Like, whether you want to say
I'm right then. Extramarital sex occurs when a married person engages in sexual activity with someone other than spouse. But both of you are doofuses.
No,
I'm right.
Hold on. But what's 100 lashes for in Islam then?
Fornicators. You are not married. I'm not married.
So, Maldives, rape victim in the Maldives. This is in the Express, Daily Mail. This was 25th of August 2013. Rape victim 15 who faced 100 lashes in the Maldives for fornication has sentence quashed after court caves into global outrage. The girl had reportedly been abused by her stepfather for years. They were arrested after the body of a baby was found buried outside their home. Amnesty International describes the charges outrageous. The sentence quashed after girl denied confessing to consensual sex outside marriage. A 15-year-old who was allegedly raped by her stepfather has had her sentence quashed after it caused global outrage. She was due to receive 100 lashes for having premarital sex with another man. Saudi. So that first one was in the Maldives. So this is Mail Online. Saudi judge sentences pregnant gang rape victim to 100 lashes for committing adultery. By Liz Hazelton for Mail Online. This is the 11th of February 2009. A Saudi judge has ordered a woman should be jailed for a year and receive 100 lashes after she was gang raped. It was claimed last night. The 23-year-old who has become pregnant after her ordeal was reportedly assaulted after accepting a lift from a man. Wow. I don't know what to say.
This is a very significant...
But cheerio. I think that's finished as well. That's that done.
Today and the next few days.
Let's see. Oh, Nigel. So these two are doing a great job. Very intelligent, both of them.
And we go, some funny business. Then 100 lashes for me. If I'm married, then let's
what's
say
the
you're not married.
difference? Yeah.
If I'm married to a woman and you're, let's say either you're married or you're not married, doesn't matter. Actually, there's a hadith for it as well.
Choose one. Just so let's make it clear. So if I'm married,
I am married.
It doesn't matter if you're gang raped and you then get pregnant from being gang raped. If you're a woman, you're going to get whipped and a year in jail.
You're not.
You're married, okay.
I'm married to a wife, and then I have sex with you outside my marriage. That would be labeled. That is something that would be called extramarital affair.
Or getting raped by Harris and his friends. Not that Harris would do that. Seems like a nice film.
And then I will be stoned to death. You will be given 100 lashes.
But I don't think anything happened to the guys who had sex with I think she was Filipino or something like that.
That's what
Filipino Muslim.
What it is.
You would be stoned to death.
Extramarital includes,
I think sometimes the guy doesn't get stoned.
There's a hadith for it. There was a guy who comes to Prophet and he says, "My son has had sex with a married woman," and the father says that I'm trying to rescue my son. And I'm willing to give them so many sheep and cows or whatever, camels or whatever. Please don't kill my son. So Prophet Muhammad said, sorry, your son needs to be given 100 lashes because he was unmarried. But the woman he had sex with, she was married, so she needs to be stoned to death.
And they're still stoning, and I think it's Iran.
Okay, so it all depends on if you're married. If you're the married part,
yes, and the married.
So that's why it's so complicated. Okay.
So when a married person does it, it's
when a married person does it with a non-married person.
No, he could do it with a married person as well. So let's say we were both married.
But then the punishment's different. Then you're both stoned to death.
Then we both stoned to death. But when marriage is involved, it's called extramarital. So
but only the married person is stoned to death. Is what you're saying.
but we're talking about the semantics of extramarital. Extramarital sex occurs when a married person engages. So for me,
so the married person would die according to Islam.
Yes.
Stoned.
So Professor Dawkins and I are on the same side, and we win again. And Muhammad Hijab, you're a doofus. Professor Dawkins is right. Where is that hadith?
Wait, let me see what Muhammad Hijab said to that, though.
No. He said, no. There's a death for apostasy, extramarital sex. Yes, he's right. There's death for extramarital sex.
You do. If you're the married party, you're saying if actually.
I'm going to leave that there. You should go and subscribe. That's in Harris Sultan. I wish you knew this young lady's name. second name's Can, but she's go and subscribe. Obviously liked it. Harris Sultan, good guy, did nothing wrong.
And he's mentioned.
So there's two nice fellas as well. So this is Apostate Aladdin and the Apostate Prophet. So I think this gentleman's Turkish. I'm not sure if this gentleman's Middle Eastern. Two other nice guys as well. Definitely go and subscribe to these guys as well.
That throwing people off roofs thing, and the amount of followers that he has is terrifying. Like if you made that joke, that's not your whole brand, as far as I can tell. Like you don't come out and you're not proud of it, as certain people with high pitched voices say. It's not something that you just display out.
He's making reference to Ali Dawah wanting to bring in Sharia law in the UK to kill apostate prophet for being an apostate to Islam, and he wants the state to come in and execute him purely for the fact he's left Islam.
There, and all your followers are nodding along like, yes, this is exactly who we are, but they get away with it, and unfortunately we still have to be the better people in many ways. But I will cut a slack for slipping up, and as long as we own up to it, and I just want to mention that we were talking about this just for less than a minute before the stream. The reason why I seem like kind of more put together as a vocal ex-Muslim is because I've seen examples of people who've already expressed their thoughts in so many different ways. And in a sense, even though I started by stumbling into it, because it was never my intention to become an ex-Muslim, vocal ex-Muslim. I even told this to my partner at the time. I remember at the time I was just writing sort of articles and sticking to that written medium before I ever spoke with my voice. And I remember explicitly saying, I'm never going to become one of those people who like make videos about it and go on live streams and stuff. And I apologized to my partner because I wasn't trying.
Oh, frozen.
This holiness, right? So yeah, so I guess, yeah.
I saw that you were but I don't know, for a while I have seen that you have engaged in certain that you have made certain posts or certain tweets in which you call out the hypocrisy of Muslim apologists and how intolerant many of them are, how they advocate for oppression and violence and all that. And I've seen you become more blunt, I guess, in the way you call these things out and the way you express yourself. And I guess I see there what you mean. You are more and more simply engaging with the reality of how people actually think and how it is entirely reasonable to respond to them and call them out where they need to be called out, no matter if they are offended by that or not. And the issue is as soon as you start doing that, they will take that as an offense and will respond to you with even more offense, with significantly harsher offense.
Well,
and
the default position is offensive.
It would be very interesting for me to know, obviously, if you're brought up in Islam, whether any of the Islamic cultural aspects are still with apostate Aladdin, apostate prophet. Are they any remnants of, because they've actually been brought up in an Islamic ideology that is inferred into their culture, if there's any cultural traditions from Islam that they still abide to, even though they're both apostates? That would be quite interesting.
By them, right? Like from their books, even. Like, I'm not saying just the Dawah people. The default position is insulting to us. So us even like reaching out and trying to have conversations.
Now, bear in mind that Islam wants to kill these two gentlemen because they have left Islam. That's the punishment in an Islamic state. Although I believe that there's quite a lot of cracks now in the countries that are Islamic, and a lot of people are sort of becoming atheists on the sly and just not telling anybody that they're atheists.
Is us being the bigger person. Like at the end of the day, I'm doing this, like you said, you forgive someone who believes that you should be executed. I don't know if I've reached that level of forgiveness. I understand where they're coming from, which makes it very hard to hate them.
it's a death cult. You don't. If this is, it's. You have to be stronger in your resolution. This is if I said the people should be killed who were, I don't know, Eskimos. Let's take an Eskimos just because they're Eskimos. It's the same principle. I don't think Eskimos. I think Eskimos are fantastic, or Inuits are absolutely fantastic bunch. Incredible type of people as well to survive up there. But yeah,
right, because like you said, you can't hate them.
If somebody's calling for your execution, you shouldn't be placating them in any aspect whatsoever.
I don't hate them, but someone like Ali Dawa, for example, I pity him more than anything. Like, I look at him and I just feel like I wouldn't want to be.
Well, that's incredibly lenient, almost Christian of you from the point of view of forgiveness of somebody who would, as a fascist, and would execute you if they ever took over in Western states, which has been facilitated by the globalists in our political parties, like the Lib Lab Con party.
Trapped in that life. I'd rather be an ex-Muslim than Ali Dawa. Like, let me just put it that way.
Yeah.
And you're right. I'm becoming a little more bold where I need to be.
I'm going to leave that there. Definitely go and sign up. I've liked that. Apostate Prophet. Subscribe to the gentleman as well. Excellent. So, what are you guys saying? Is there any comments? Oh, we've got comments. Oh, hello. I wasn't even paying attention to this. I didn't think anybody was here. What are you saying? Laugh out loud. The media events are of this nature. Race bait, yeah. Part of the agenda. Yeah, that's right, Donna. Jussie ticks a lot of the intersectional boxes. Yes, that's correct. And there's that verse tank as well. I'll get rid of that. Pre-Floyd stirrup, yeah. MSN. I think also Floyd was killed in a democratic state as well, in a democratic police force. There was 2 white people, one killed on video, just like Jussie Smollett, by somebody kneeling on his back of his neck that was never addressed. So rather than it being a police thing and a police problem because there was 2, a black and a white guy, and the white guy was killed by a white officer. And there was 2 white guys killed by this kneeling on the back of the neck, which I don't think should have been done. And I think there's been allegations that this was shown to the American police by some Israeli, I don't know if it was Israeli military or secret police or something to do with the Israelis. I don't know if that's true, but that's certainly been muted as well. But rather than becoming a police problem and everybody being on the same side, then become a racial problem, and the communists and Antifa and BLM burned down the place. Yeah, I'm blacker than Duchess. I'm blacker than the Duchess. Participates in news pseudo event. Yeah. He was a grifter paid. He's black and Jewish and heterosexual too. I don't know who you're talking about there. Donna, what was that? What were you saying? Kamala Harris, crackle. Yes, exactly. You're right. Yes, he's the ultimate victim of somewhat of a profile. That Hillary, as the head witch and the new president to be. Yes, it's an agenda. Perfect. Yeah, it's a framework. It's a wee bit wonky. We have all these hate crime bills, etc., for really no reason. Yeah, it's a political fraud. CNN, street theatre. Yeah, got paid your dues for getting there. Jussie had a white daddy, did he? Oh, that's interesting. Didn't know that. His name was Dickie. Is that right? Dickie. So he's not French, as Dave Chappelle would say. Family involved in sort of social engineering through television and activism. Interesting. We sure do. New narratives as control. Interesting, Kate, that what you're saying here as well. Yeah, as control mechanism, political class or racist. Yeah, the public pay them very little attention when they all are squabbling about race, left, right, ID politic tricks, yeah, etc., etc. And the thing and isms, yeah, all the isms, yeah. Where did that go? Isms. Humza as health minister is a branch of this kind of pestering the public. Yeah, that's right. He may have been inspired by the media narrative, but it was orchestrated by anyone else. They would have used white guys to authenticate it. In my opinion, he did it to raise his own public profile. Well, that's fine, mate. If you, I'm just saying that this paints it in a different scenario if you change the narrative. But I know that's the standard narrative. I don't know. And his profile is through the roof now. Yeah, it certainly is. I don't know what you were saying there, Kate. It's been redacted. I think he was low IQ and did it to get into the circle. It's much more enticing a story which raised his profile higher than the story just went over as genuine, I reckon, right? Jewish father, I reckon. So I'm not quite sure if the Jewish or white or whoever Father Jussie was. I'm not quite sure if there was underlying motives there as well. More twists than Tarantino. Yeah, Tarantino's awesome. I've the utmost respect for Christian Tarantino. He's absolutely genius. So let's leave it in Dave Chappelle. And I think this is one of the best stand-up sketches. I've watched it so many times, and just this is one of the best stand-up sketches, and especially taking these anti-woke stance as well, which is quite interesting as well.
Just afraid of being attacked. Happens to the best of us. Don't ever forget what happened to that French actor. You know what I'm talking about? Jussie Smollett.
He's this is just brilliantly put together. I mean, he's obviously I don't know if he's written this or let's assume that he's written this, but brilliantly crafted. I'm not a massive Dave Chappelle fan. I've not seen too much of it, but this was certainly world class. Just this 5-minute skit.
Yeah, he's a very famous French actor. Y'all never heard of Jussie Smollett? Jussie Smollett is an actor from France. And he became famous on a show called Empire. One night, he was in Chicago late at night and was the victim he was the victim of a racist and homophobic attack.
Now, if you saw the size of the two Nigerian fellows, I think Jussie Smollett might be the gay Tupac, because to fight both of those fellows who were, and I've seen a lot of bodybuilders over the time, they were absolutely massive. I'm very impressed with his fighting ability. Oh, Jussie.
You see, Jussie Smollett is gay and he is black, not just French. Oh, it was a crazy story. Apparently, when he was walking down the street late at night, 2 white men came out of the shadows with MAGA hats on and beat him up.
Now, it's pretty impressive, as I said, the 2 Nigerian guys just here sporting Donald Trump in Chicago with their white face. I think that's pretty impressive.
Tied a rope around his neck, called him all kinds of niggas, and put some bleach on him and ran off into the night. This shit was like international news. And everybody was furious, especially in Hollywood. It's all over everybody's Twitter feed and Instagram page. Justice for Jussie and all this shit. The whole country was up in arms. It was talking about it all the time on the news. And for some reason, African Americans, we were like oddly quiet. We were so quiet about this shit that the gay community started accusing African American community of being homophobic for not supporting him. What they didn't understand is that we were supporting him with our silence. Because we understood that this nigga was clearly lying. None of these details added up at all. He said he's walking down the street in Chicago and white dudes come up to him and say, "Hey man, aren't you that faggot nigger from Empire?" A fuck? Does that sound like how white people talk? I know white people. They don't talk like that. Are you that faggot nigga from Empire? They would never say that. It sounds like something that I would say. If you're racist and homophobic, you're not even gonna know who this nigga is. You can't watch Empire.
I think in any acting career, any arts career, that there is a sort of one thing that usually stands out. Some people have a lot of success and a lot of continuum in their artistry, whether it's in Dave's case, it's comedy, and they have one thing that really stands out, and I think this skit is of world class. Just the way he's put it together. I mean, he's obviously thought about it and structured it before he's actually come out here. And he's just done it brilliantly. It's just for his whole career. I don't know if this would be the ultimate skit for him.
Black people never feel sorry for the police, but this time we even felt sorry for the police. Can you imagine if you was a police veteran taking this kid's police report? Okay, Mr. Smollett, please tell me what happened. All right, 2 a.m. You left the house at 2 a.m. It's minus 16 degrees. All right. You were walking. All right. And where were you going? Subway. Sandwiches? That's when the men approached you? Did you see them? Do you have any? Okay, what do they have on? MAGA hats. MAGA hats on in Chicago. Excuse me 1 second, Mr. Smollett. Frank, come here for a second. Find out where Kanye West was last night.
Brilliant, 10 out of 10. Well done, Netflix. Well done, Dave. Fantastic. Absolutely dynamite. Am I still going? Oh yes, I'm still on. It hasn't frozen again for the 10th time. Right, my sports fans. Yeah, this is good. Yeah, he's excellent. His profile has been quieter. My baby gorillas, you know I love you. Got all dressed up for you and everything. I'm glad we're back on and I'm getting comments. Love you guys. And I would like to thank Ray as well for sending me money. First guy, absolutely brilliant for the super chats. And thank you very much, Dave. Really appreciate it. We are now off to the races, setting up the bank account, and all money from the Guerilla TV will be reinvested in the Guerilla TV channel to make sure we bring you the best political channel in the internet. Love my baby gorillas and good night.